All right, let's do this. We're going to wind the clock all the way back to 1998. It was a year when one film didn't just open in theaters, it basically detonated. It completely blew up our ideas of what a war movie could be. Of course, I'm talking about Steven Spielberg's Saving Private Ryan, and its shockwaves are, believe it or not, still being felt today.
You know, this quote from a review back then just nails it. For anyone who saw this film in the theater when it first came out, this wasn't just a clever line from a critic. It felt like the absolute truth. And understanding that feeling is really the key to why this film hit everyone with such incredible force.
So let's talk about that shockwave. It all starts with that opening sequence, the D-Day landing on Omaha Beach. This wasn't just another scene in a movie. It felt like a cultural event. A total cinematic gut punch that audiences had absolutely no way to prepare for.
And you really can't overstate this. Think about it. Before Ryan, most war movies had this sort of heroic, safe distance. But this film, it just grabs you by the collar and throws you headfirst into the pure chaos. I mean, people were walking out of theaters in dead silence. It was this visceral, overwhelming, and, let's be honest, kind of traumatizing experience that set it worlds apart from anything that came before it.
So, the big question is, how in the world did Spielberg achieve this level of brutal authenticity? Well, he basically created a whole new cinematic language for filming combat. He totally redefined what realism even meant for a war movie. Let's dig into his toolkit.
What's so amazing is how all these different pieces work together. You had the handheld camera, which was shaky and disorienting. It made you feel like you were right there, scrambling on the beach. Then he sucked all the vibrant color out of the film, leaving this muted, grim look that just stripped away any romantic idea of war. And the sound design, wow, it was an absolute assault on the senses. Bullets whizzing right past your ear, explosions that literally rattled you in your seat. It was all done to create this unflinching, raw, and brutal experience that made you feel like a participant, not just a spectator.
Okay, so that's the crucial question, right? After putting the audience through that horrifying experience, you have to wonder, what's the point? Was this just Spielberg showing off his technical skills, or did all that violence actually serve a deeper, more human purpose? Well, the answer to that lies in the mission.
After we survived the hell of Omaha Beach, the film suddenly zooms in. It shifts focus from this massive invasion to a single, almost absurdly personal objective: the mission to find and bring home one soldier.
Just think about how wild that is. In the middle of the largest military invasion in history, the U.S. War Department sends out an order to save one family from losing their last son. And this mission, led by Tom Hanks' Captain Miller, becomes the beating heart and the moral engine of the entire film.
And this right here boils down the central conflict of the entire movie. The official mission is simple on paper: save one guy. But the human reality? You're gonna sacrifice 8 men to do it. Is one life worth 8? That terrible, brutal math is the moral dilemma that the soldiers are constantly wrestling with, and it drives every single moment of the story.
And this focus on the personal is what makes it all so powerful. It's not really just about the mission, it's about the guys on the mission. We really get to know Captain Miller's squad. We hear their jokes, we see their fears, we feel their doubts about whether any of this makes sense. The performances are so good that you get invested in every single one of them. So when a character dies, it's not just another casualty. Man, it hurts. It's a real personal loss.
So when we look back at those first reviews from 1998, it's so clear that critics didn't just think this was a great film. No, they saw it as a masterful, landmark piece of directing, a true cinematic achievement. Spielberg's genius here was his absolute control. I mean, first, he orchestrates the most insane, chaotic battle sequences, but somehow you never lose track of what's happening. Then, he perfectly balances that huge, epic spectacle with these tiny, quiet, intimate moments between the soldiers. And most importantly, he gets this raw, emotional honesty from his actors, so the film never feels sappy or manipulative, just brutally honest.
So, what's the ultimate legacy of Saving Private Ryan? It's much bigger than the awards or the box office numbers. It's the way it completely reinvented the war film genre, setting an entirely new benchmark for everyone that followed.
This timeline really puts it all in perspective. You can see it clearly. There's a before Ryan and an after Ryan. Before 1998, a lot of war films were these sweeping, heroic epics. Then Ryan drops, and it's a massive turning point. After that, filmmakers couldn't go back. That gritty, down-in-the-mud, soldier's eye view became the new gold standard. You can draw a direct line from this film to projects like Black Hawk Down and the Band of Brothers series.
So ultimately, the film's most lasting contribution was creating a whole new vocabulary, a new visual and sonic language for showing combat on screen. It taught a whole generation of filmmakers and audiences what war could actually look and sound like. For better or worse, it just rewrote the rules of the game.
And that brings us to this one final, fascinating question to think about. How can a film be an incredible anti-war statement while also being maybe the most perfectly crafted combat film ever made? By showing the unvarnished horror of war with such unbelievable skill, it makes one of the most powerful arguments against war imaginable. And that paradox, that complicated, tricky idea, that is the true enduring legacy of Saving Private Ryan.